Whenever a coach takes over a program, and now that they are the guy, they got to sit down and they got to look at that roster to see exactly what changes need to be made, evaluate the players to see what might be something that they're missing or something that they need to add immediately. You know, if these athletes can be developed, what exactly can they do to get themselves positioned to win games? Now, oftentimes we do see coaches, they change up the roster very quickly because a lot of the athletes that are there, they didn't recruit them. They didn't sit down on the couch and have, a glass of Kool-Aid and some cookies with mommy and daddy and sit back and talk about your collegiate future. They didn't do none of that. But what they did do is they came in and looked at how would this person fit into my program. And sometimes coaches feel that change is intimate as far as them wanting to get the program positioned for them to win and become champions. You know, at the end of the day, everybody wants to win. And looking at how some coaches been able to come in and win after, say, year 1, year 2, year 3, and leave some coaches scratching their head trying to figure out, like, man, you know what? I got to find me a way to get over a hump. Get over the hump. Not get over a hump, but get over the hump to get to that championship ring so that they can go ahead and talk a little smack as far as what they're looking to do next. Well, I got to be honest with you. This coach here figured out something that needs to be done. And change is about to come because competition going to be through the roof. And we're going to talk about it right after this. You know, it's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos. And tap in a friend to it. Tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to jump on in this thing. Because I'm like, Coach, what you got going on? You've been putting out some crazy stuff lately, Coach. What you got going on? Talk to us. Listen, I'm looking at what Coach Wilson has been able to build over there at Morgan State over the past couple of seasons. I think this is going to be season number 4 that he's going into. And the teams have been pretty daggone competitive for the most part. I think they went, 2-3 the first year in MEAC play, and I think they went 3-2, 3-2 the last 2 years. And Coach Wilson is looking at things like, you know what? I got to make sure I got all the right pieces in place because you know he's going to have the team ready to compete. They're going to compete for the whole 4 quarters. They're going to make sure everybody leave it all out there on the field. Ain't going to be no questions asked as far as what's going on with Coach Wilson team. Did they get out there and compete for the day? You already know Coach Sewell going to have that defense locked and loaded, ready to get out there and get that ball and hand it back to the offense to give them more bites at the apple for them to possibly score more points. I mean, looking at what they were able to do last season, Morgan State, they allowed 23.3 points per game. And I think the offense, I think they scored roughly around like 24, 25. So they got to bump that up just a little bit more. But Coach Wilson found a couple of pieces that, is coming into the program that's going to change and turn some things around. And, all I'm going to say is, are you ready to compete? Because, see, a lot of times we go, athletes go into the program thinking like, hey, I'm that guy. I'm him. I'm him. They need me. They weren't able to get it done before. They need me. I'm the guy. They need me. Come to find out, nah, don't need you. Just need what I need to get the job done. Are you him? And if you're him, then guess what? Let's go ahead and get out here on the field and make it happen. Because, competition come in all forms. I mean, you got folks where they trying to compete to tie their shoes. You got some folks like to compete to see who's going to get to the field, who's going to get to the field the earliest to go ahead and get themselves prepared for practice or whatever have you. And I'm sure practice probably it's not practice, but I'm sure competition has already begun as far as the athletes trying to sit down, get their minds ready and get themselves into the playbook to see exactly what they're going to do this upcoming season. Because, they looking to get in that championship spot. They want to go play for that Celebration Bowl. I know Coach Wilson got to be sitting over there looking like, wait a minute. Shoot, Coach Barry came in this thing from Benedict College. Right off the rip. First year, he go ahead, he knocked this thing out of the park. He's in that game playing for it. Wait a minute. It's time for us to get there. And, I was thinking to myself, I was looking at Coach Wilson's record going from Bowie State coming over to Morgan State. I'm like, man, you know what? Coach kind of ahead a little bit. But then I was like, from a record standpoint, I'm going to say they're not. I think think Coach Wilson won a couple more games over at Bowie State, going through year 3, coming into, before year 4 started. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. But you know what? When Coach got that one missing piece, it was lights out. It was lights out for everybody after that, because that thing that he needed was something that was going to take that team over the top. And I'll be honest, I think he got 2 of them. And it's gonna come down to who's gonna be it. Who's gonna get the keys? Who's gonna take the keys from coach and say, you know what, I'm ready to lead this thing. I mean, you gotta have some leaders out there, baby. You gotta have some leaders out there. You gotta get the fans, you gotta lather them up a little bit, get them excited about wanting to come out there and check these games out, because they've been in some games. I mean, listen, on average, last season, Morgan State lost 3 games by an average of 7.3333 to infinity points. Now just think. Offense could have got clicking in a couple of games or 2 here and there, made a play here or there. How things would have went. Matter of fact, when I gave you that stat as far as with the defense allowing 23.3 points per game, just think if the offense was able to score a little bit more, or better yet, score a little bit more, or better yet, keeping drives going, sustaining drives, and not turning the ball back over to the other team, because they couldn't get the ball moving. And then they come down the field, they're putting points up on the board because the defense is drained. The defense is tired. Well, let me be honest with you. Coach Wilson already had 2 quarterbacks in the staff. He already had 2 quarterbacks in the hole. And the quarterback room has just gotten a lot more competitive, because now you got to come with your A game every day. It ain't just on Saturday. You got to come on that thing Monday through Friday. It's like a job. It's like, I'm probably gonna give y'all something that y'all might not remember. You remember Calvin in the commercial for McDonald's, where they said, "Oh, Calvin finally got his propers." Where Calvin was out there doing his thing, and he was getting moved up through the corporation. Guess what? It's kind of like how old boy said on Coming to America. Hey, today I washed the lettuce. Next time, in a couple of months, I'll be on fries. Guess what? If you want to be that guy out there on the field with all the girls say, "Oh, look at that quarterback do his thing," your behind better make sure you understand the plays and you're ready to get out here and lead this team in the manner what you need to. Because the Celebration Bowl is the key. And I know a lot of y'all like, "Coach, why are you talking about the Celebration Bowl?" Celebration Bowl don't need to be talked about right now. They haven't even got the spring practice. Listen, you got to set a goal for where you're trying to go in order for you to get on the road and start on your way to get there. You feel me? You just can't sit back and say, "Okay, yeah, week 6, hey, we're looking to go Celebration Bowl." Okay, you're supposed to be preparing for this before the season starts. You're supposed to be preparing for this right now. And guess what Coach said? Coach said, guess what? I got the players to do it. I went out there and got me some athletes to add to what I already got. I'm going to go ahead and add them on in this thing. We're going to get this thing rolling. And, he got 2 quarterbacks already right now, Deuce Taylor, in which the young man, Deuce Taylor and Taj Smith. Both of those young men, they played last season for Morgan State Bears. They played in 8 games. Taylor threw the ball 115 times, completing 80 for 843 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Smith, on the other hand, he threw the ball 116 times, completing 65 for 708 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, I'm sure both of these quarterbacks are sitting there looking like, all right, y'all that came in our quarterback room. We about to go ahead and bust this thing up and find out who's really going to be that guy. Who's going to be the one that's going to start and kick this thing off to make sure they lead us to the promised land? Well, guess what? They got 2 quarterbacks that just got added. Cy Bushnell from Air Force Prep. And this young man, I got to be honest with you, he has touch on the ball. This young man throw crisp passes as far as he's putting it out there. He's able to push the ball down the field, making sure he's throwing his receivers open on seam and go routes. I'm just like, he's putting it out there for them to run up underneath the ball, catch the ball, and keep on going. That is what you want to see. You want to get those explosive plays out there on the field that's going to allow you to get big chunks of yards, or even better yet, just take the ball to the house and score a touchdown. These are the things that Coach Wilson, I'm sure, is looking to see happen this season, because there wasn't a lot of explosive plays for Morgan State last season. Bushnell is a dual threat quarterback that he will call his number if he need to pull that ball down and take off and run. He's able to scramble around in the pocket as well as throw the ball on the run accurately down the field. So that's what Bushnell got going on for him. Brayden Oliver from Monroe College is another big play quarterback that's coming into the program. He's your typical pro-style quarterback that can run the ball when he needs to, but more so he's going to stand back there in that pocket as well as scramble around and get that ball down the field to the open receivers out there, open receivers for them to get big plays. he's one also that can push the ball down the field. So this is going to be, like I said, an interesting quarterback competition that's going to go on with these with all four of these quarterbacks. Again, Oliver's ability to extend plays, that's something else that he's able to do well himself. He doesn't allow himself to get boxed in the pocket. It's almost like he's looking at the defense as far as what's coming at him a step and a half faster than when they're trying to get to him in the pocket, whereas allowing him to take off, either take off and run the ball or push the ball down the field for an open receiver. And not to mention, Coach Wilson Wing got some big targets for them to throw to. So you already know they're looking to make some changes out here on this offense for them to really kick this thing in the overdrive and definitely average more than 23 points per game. Because averaging 23 points per game ain't going to kick it in the MEAC, and it ain't going to kick it playing against them SWAC teams, because them SWAC teams going to be looking to run the score up on your behind. But, guys, I got to say this. Spring ball is right around the corner. So, again, we're going to see how these young men are going to balance, how everything's going to balance out, who's going to end up going into the going into the summer camp as QB1. I'm sure Coach Wilson may not divulge that information to us as far as who he's looking at to be that number one guy. He's going to let everything play out to see how it all goes. Last time Coach Wilson was able to get him a quarterback in his program, y'all remember that kid, Jerome Johnson? Yeah. That young man was out there lighting up the skies, boy, throwing passes to open receivers out there on the field, as well as having the ability to pull the ball down and take off and run as well. That young man was able to change some things around within the program to get that Bowie State offense rolling. This is what I'm seeing with both of these young men right here. I'm seeing some similarities as far as their games, comparing them to Johnson. I want to see exactly how this thing gonna turn out. But if things go in the right direction for Morgan State, y'all better believe Coach Wilson might be that one that they end up naming when it's all said and done, the MEAC champion that's going to go play in this Celebration Bowl. I understand you got Mike Vick over at Norfolk State. He's putting his team together, as well as Deshaun Johnson. Coach Trey Oliver, I haven't forgotten about you over there at North Carolina Central, and nor have I forgotten about Coach Barry over there at South Carolina State. And Coach Scott, trust and believe, he's going to be ready to go, get things moving in the manner in which they need to move for him and his team to get back in that thing once again, winning the MEAC and end up going to play in that Celebration Bowl. So, guys, y'all get ready, tune in, tap in, tell a friend and friend. Y'all already know what time it is. This thing is going to get real hot and spicy because the MEAC is going to be I ain't going to say it. The MEAC is going to be a flat-out war. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out to the finish to see who's going to be that team that's going to win the conference to go play in the Celebration Bowl. Coach going to go ahead and get up on out this thing, but congratulations to Coach Wilson on getting some new athletes into the program, getting those two quarterbacks and Bushnell to compete in that quarterback room to see who's going to be QB number one. Again, as I stated before, watching what Coach Wilson was able to do while over at Bowie State as the head football coach with that program, it spoke volumes, and I'm looking at how he's constructing things right now. He's starting to ramp this thing up a little bit more for him to get the pieces that he needs to get in there and compete at a high level once again. So, hey, y'all make sure y'all get out there, get your tickets, go check them out. Matter of fact, make sure you're behind at the spring game as well. Whenever they go ahead and announce that date and time, make sure you get your behind in there to show up and show out for the Morgan State Bears. But, hey, Coach going to go ahead and get up on out this thing. But until next time, be the one and lead.